It is currently noon here in Orlando, Florida, so that can only mean one thing. A brand new episode of HTF Bets is officially underway. As always, I'm your host, Riley Sheppard, here to mediate what should be a debate-filled episode on the Hitting the Field network. So don't go anywhere because HTF Bets starts now. Back everybody, Jeff Laux to my left, Luka Costa to my right, here to bring you all your fantasy football needs and as always, our surefire picks of the week. But before we do that, we need to kick off the show as we do every week here with our Beast, Best, Bust. And I'm going to start first because I haven't started first in this segment. And my Beast of the week is the 2012 Super Bowl MVP, Joe Flacco. Yeah. Joe Flacco went off against Jeff's Browns. I'm so sorry, Jeff. 307 yards through the air, 110 passer rating for the 37-year-old. Spent most of his career in Baltimore, but is now with the Jets. Garrett Wilson also was the first Jets rookie to ever have a multi-touchdown, 100-plus yard game, including the game-winning touchdown in what was a wild game, unfortunately, for the Cleveland Browns. Jeff, let's talk about the game a little bit. So Nick Chubb ran in a rushing touchdown towards the end of the game, about minute 57 left in the game, put the Browns up 2 scores. And I've been seeing, and I disagree with it, should he have ran that touchdown in?
And I'm going to go with you. No. Yes, he should have. He should have. It's literally a football player move. The coach literally, there's a mic'd up segment that got posted on our social media yesterday. And Coach Stefanski's like, hey, score. Let's make them go down by two scores, and then let's pile on top of them. But our rookie kicker that made our game-winning 57-yarder last week, missed the PAT. It was perfect all day long, missed the PAT. So that put us down under. No one should blame Chubb. Chubb is just a phenomenal runner. Like, if you saw the ending run where he just stop-gapped and literally hopped over a dude, he's just an insane athlete, and no one should judge him for his defense letting up, 2-possession game under that amount of minutes?
I would say it's definitely not on Nick Chubb. If I'm playing a football game, I'm trying to score the ball. That's the opposite. You're
put the game away.
Yeah, exactly. If you would have told me not to score, hey, we're gonna put my team up 2 scores, that just makes no sense for me to not try and go in and put, get the ball in the end zone. So I think if anything, it's on the kicker first, then the defense. Actually, I lied. Defense definitely first. You cannot be giving up 2 scores like that in a minute 57. That's unbelievable. And the kicker also is at fault because, like you said, he was perfect all game. Makes a 57-yarder, then he missed a PAT.
The thing is, last year Chubb even did what everyone said he should have done, which is go down. We had a chance to score a touchdown, 10-yard line against the Houston Texans in Cleveland last year. It was like 12-9 that we won the game. We could have ended up going up by way much more. The fantasy owners would have been way more happy. But Chubb kneeled. So what do you think should have happened, Riley?
Look, I always think you put the game away. At the end of the day, that you're always putting the game away there. Should have. Like you said, that's on the defense more than anything. Also at the onside kick that they should have recovered. But Joe Flacco's been balling out the last 2 weeks with Zach Wilson out with the meniscus tear. Wilson should be back in week 4. But, it's been cool to see this 37-year-old balling out the last couple weeks with Wilson out. I'm going to go with you, Jeff, with your best of the week. Or no, you had the bust.
Yeah, it's okay.
I had the best of the week.
He had the best.
So
we'll go with Luka.
I'm taking over from Jeff, so it's a great day when I get to talk about Arsenal. So Gabriel Jesus, oh man, don't get me started. Jesus from Bethlehem. In 7 games in the Premier League this season, he has 4 goals and 3 assists. Arsenal won 3-0 away from home against Brentford. And he had 1 goal at the weekend. So Arsenal's still top of the table with 6 wins, 1 loss. You know what I'm saying? Something light, for the Gunners. We're back on top. But the only thing is that we have to see how we're going to play against top-tier competition. But, Gabriel Jesus, he's putting in some work for Arsenal. He's always been a good player. He just wasn't best for City's system. I think he's really excelling here at Arsenal. And so his next game, whether you know soccer or not, you know that Arsenal and Tottenham, Spurs, it's called the North London Derby. It's a big game. October 1st, 7:30 a.m. What are your guys' take on that game? Who do you guys think is going to win?
I'm going with your boy. They're hot right now.
Okay.
They're hot. And that's the thing.
Sir.
They're connecting. And last season, they were struggling. Everyone's like, what do we do with Arsenal? Like, a top-tier Premier League club has a chance to get relegated. Like, what are y'all going to do? they go pick up that man himself, like you say, Gabriel. That he's the man. So
what do you think has been? Why do you think he's been gelling so well with Arsenal?
I think he's gelling so well simply because of his role that he plays. At City, he was forced to play a winger role. He was put out left, and Gabriel Jesus is center forward, false nine, which means he's the striker. He comes back, receives the ball, he puts play together. And so at Arsenal, he has that freedom. He has that free mobility to where he can drop in, he can make passes out wide, he can go into the space in between, he makes the runs in behind. He does everything a false nine needs to do, and it's just simply because the players around him just are better to his play style, and that's not to knock City or anything. Sorry, Ezra. But anyway, he's just better for our system. So yeah. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it to Jeff for
score prediction really quick.
Oh, score prediction. Ooh, I'm gonna say 3-2 Arsenal. I'm gonna say 3-2 Arsenal because I think Heung-min Son will definitely score one, and Tottenham is a good team as well, but they're not Arsenal. So.
And like Lucas said, Jeff did have our bust of the week, and I don't think this is a surprise to anybody with how the Cincinnati Bengals have been playing. 13 sacks in their first 2 games of the season after upgrading that offensive line. But Jeff,
upgrading.
Upgrading. Let me put that in air quotes. Upgrading.
Look, I hate to hate on another AFC North team because we had a bad week. I mean, the AFC North just had a bad week in general. If I just read it off for you real quick. So the Browns blow a 13-point lead with less than 2 minutes remaining. The Ravens blow a 21-point lead with the fourth quarter lead. The Bengals lose on a last-second field goal, and the Steelers lose, but not in such a heartbreaking fashion. So it's been a rough week, so I hate to harp on them. The Browns' defense would have been mine if it wasn't because this is such a huge exclamation point right now.
No, definitely.
It's a new year, the same Bengals offensive line. Like, when are they going to fix it? Because right now, they paid the highest-paid position group for offensive linemen ever, $71 million in an offseason. The Bengals have allowed 6 sacks the past game, and now told that to 13. That's just way too much. You can't have your QB on pace to have 111 sacks at the end of the season. That's an injury. That's an injury waiting to happen, and I just have an issue with that. Lyle Collins, supposed to be a baller from Cowboys. He was wonderful. PFF ranked him as a top 5 pickup for them. He hasn't done much. He's had a 95 run average block grade. That's amazing. 34 pass blocking grade average. That's not good. That's not good. And Collins said when he got signed, your new bodyguard is in town.
What is he protecting?
What are you protecting, bro? But Burrow's on the ground talking to Micah Parsons half the game, man.
He's like, yeah, good tackle, boy. He's like, wow,
when I talk about this with my friends, they always say, could this be a Burrow issue? And yes, it is. There's statistics that back it up. 3% of the pressures he causes are on him. 97% are on his offensive line. That's not that big. So when people try to throw it on Burrow, yes, he holds the ball too much. Yes, he might be looking for that Jamar Chase connection, that T. Higgins connection way too long, but his offensive line has not held up, and as they go through the season, they're going to run into more, timid defensive lines. The Steelers, the Browns, your own division, you have demon defensive linemen. Like the Ravens have one of the highest rated defensive linemen to start the season right now. Like you're going to be screwed when you had an AFC North battle and your offensive line can't protect. Yeah. So they are a bust.
Yeah, no, we saw how important that was in the Super Bowl and how much of an impact that had when Burrow's offensive line last season was bad. And it was bad. It was bad leading up to the playoffs. It was bad throughout the playoffs. And they said, okay, we're going to address this issue now. We're going to address this because Burrow is our future. And maybe it's only been 2 weeks, so I don't want to get too ahead on ourselves because I don't think Burrow is going to end up getting sacked 112 times or whatever he's on pace for. But it's not looking great.
So I just want to throw these stats out there for this past week against the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys have Micah Parsons on demon time right now, but Burrow's average time to throw in week 2 was 2.17 seconds, second fastest in the NFL for the week. His average time to sack was 3.4 seconds, literally like 5th place in the league. His time to scramble was the fastest in the league at 3.93 seconds. So literally dude was scrambling outside the pocket as soon as he hiked the ball. Like that's just not healthy for your young QB, especially a guy that's trying to still build his confidence after missing the Super Bowl by making it that far.
Well, that is all the time that we have for this segment. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere because Grant Wheeler is joining us for our fantasy football part of the show, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome to HTF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Luka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffrey Laux, no question.
Richie. I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where's that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Riley always dresses really, really cute.
Oh, that went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the fantasy football part of our show. And for this week, our NFL expert and local sad Indianapolis Colts fan, Grant Wheeler, is joining us. Now, Grant took a lot of L's this past weekend, so I won't bully him just yet. But your Colts do take on the Chiefs this weekend, and they're looking for their first win of the season. What do they have to do to pull this off?
Well, first of all, they have to get healthy. They're down Shaquille Leonard, Michael Pittman Jr., and Alec Pierce. I don't know if they're lacking energy right now. It's a coaching issue, but they need to bring the energy on Sunday against an AFC contender in the Kansas City Chiefs. So if they can get those guys in there, I do think that can change the energy. Obviously, the offensive line's not playing up to its standards. Defensively, though, they got to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. They have to.
Is it panic? Is it panic season if y'all lose this game?
If we're not healthy, if Leonard's not out there, if our top two receivers are out, no, because I mean, if you're without your top guys, you're not going to perform well. But if they're healthy and if we, blow up again, like if we just lose badly, I say push the panic button. Yeah.
And we do have some fantasy football advice going into week 3 of the NFL season. And Luka is over on the green screen with his top 5 ad drops from this past week going into this weekend. Luka, take it away.
So this is my first time on the green screen, so we're going to see how this goes. I'm not going to lie to you, pretty nervous, but it's okay. So number 1, we got Darrell Williams for the Arizona Cardinals. James Conner has been inactive. He didn't practice Wednesday. He picked up an injury in week 1. So I think Darrell Williams is a good option to pick up on your fantasy team. 8 attempts for 59 rushing yards last week, 7.4 yards per carry, and he had a TD. He got in the end zone. His longest run was of 30 yards. So I feel like Darrell Williams is a pretty solid pickup you want on your fantasy team simply because of the inactivity of James Conner. So that's a good one. At number 2, I got Jahan Dodson. So I'm not gonna lie, this boy nice. Like Jahan Dodson, he gonna get the ball. You know what I'm saying? He's got Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin with him. So they're taking up a lot of the workload. So and they play the Eagles. So Eagles love to play Darius Slay, the number 1 receiver. Last week he clamped up. Yeah, clamped up Jay Jettas. He was nothing. It was light work. So they're gonna put him on Terry or they're gonna put him on Curtis Samuel. Jahan Dodson, he had 5 targets for 3 receptions, 2 of them being touchdowns last week. And Carson Wentz has been looking like that MVP season back in Philly, but he's not going to do it this week because he's back home. He's going to get nervous. He's going to get shaky legs, and he's going to drop it. So, but I think Jahan Dodson is a decent pickup just because of the workload from the other receivers. And number 3, I got Scotty Miller. So Tampa Bay Bucks, they have literally nobody at receiver. I'm not going to lie to you, they probably pick up Calvin Johnson right now if they really needed to because they have no options. Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Russell Gage, all inactive for this game coming up against the Packers. Tom Brady doesn't like to throw to tight ends if their name isn't Robert Gronkowski. Cameron Brate has 2 receptions in the last 2 games for the Buccaneers. So Scotty Miller is going to be one of my big pickups. I'm not gonna lie, he's not a crazy route runner, shake and bake receiver, but he's just gonna be a available option because he has no one else to throw to. Like Tom Brady simply has no other option. And for my 2 drops, so for my first one, I got Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, he's good. I don't think he's a bad receiver at all. I do think he's a quality receiver, but it's just recently with Garrett Wilson and also on top of that, Corey Davis, even Jamison Crowder, Joe Flacco is just looking at other options right now. He's low-key been in the rear view, Elijah Moore. So he's still possibly, I think high boom, high bust possibility, but I personally wouldn't pick him just because there's other receivers you can get that are going to get you that 6-7 points guaranteed. And then my last drop of the week is going to be Kadarius Tony. He's a Giants player. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what to tell you, he plays for the Giants, He just has not been the same player he has been. We saw, those couple of weeks last week. Sterling Sheppard is taking over the workload too. Sterling Sheppard is honestly coming out to show himself as a really, a very decent receiver in the league. I'm going to say, top 25, top 30 maybe receiver. These past 2 games. And also, the Giants play the Cowboys. Micah Parsons. I don't know what Daniel Jones is going to do against Michael Parsons. I'm not going to lie to you. Like Daniel Jones is going to snap the ball, take 2 steps to drop back, look left, look right, and he's going to be on the ground. He's going to be talking to Michael Parsons all game, just like Joe Burrow was last week. So those are my 3 ads, my 2 drops. Take them if you want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm 2-0 on surefire picks of the week, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. So that's all I got to say.
So, Luka, I really, really do like this list, but the one name I see that I have to disagree about is Kadarius Tony, because I'm going to tell you why. The G-men are just built different this year, and you know why? He said after an interview, after the second game, of not getting targeted much at all. Literally after last season, what he scored, 420 yards, no touchdowns, but was literally a primary receiver in that system last year. He said, at the end of the day, I was there when my number was called. Simple. I did my job. I get paid to do one thing, do my job. And that's one thing that Kadarius Tony is going to do by coming into the Cowboys game. And I'm going to claim that he's going to get a touchdown just to spite you, because Kadarius Tony is a special talent, especially when coming from UF as a Gator. He was wonderful. And Danny Jones will get back to throw into him. It's just a matter of time. Especially Kenny Golladay actually makes it back onto the field. It'll be another weapon for the G-men. So I'd have to disagree with that.
Listen,
how about y'all?
Kadarius Tony can be as good as he wants. It's not going to matter if Daniel Jones can't get a throw out of the pocket, because Michael Parsons is going to be on top of him all game long. He's going to Michael Parsons is going to have a tally on his hand, writing down how many sacks he got on Daniel Jones. It's just not looking good for him.
And you say, like you said the Giants, that they're the Giants, but they are 2-0, which is a better record than the Cowboys, who they play this weekend, who lost to the Buccaneers in Week 1. But
they played Dak. That's the reason. That's their fault. They should have started with the rush.
Those aren't even who I want to argue about. Scotty Miller. They did pick up Cole Beasley this week. Okay. They were planning to put him on the practice squad, but now he's already been on the active roster. And Scotty Miller is also questionable going into this weekend. I think he had 3 receptions, 39 yards, something like that, something around that margin. That's probably going to be his career high, or his season high. I don't see him getting any more usage. Tom Brady is going to figure it out, and I don't think it's going to be with Scotty Miller. There's a reason he's only taken in 0.01% of leagues. His receiving core is going to be back to full strength soon, and I think Cole Beasley, if anybody, is going to be the fantasy pickup from the Buccaneers receiving core, along with your first drop, which was Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore, he hasn't been great through 2 weeks. He had a pretty good rookie year, had over 500 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, hasn't gotten the end zone just yet, but he is still basically replicating his statistics from last season. It's just about around 45 yards per game. He's at about 90 this season through 2 games, and I wouldn't jump the gun on Elijah Moore just yet. It's clear that Garrett Wilson is probably going to be our wide receiver 1 in New York this season. He had a great game last week, but they have Joe Flacco starting at quarterback. Zach Wilson is probably going to be back Week 4 against the Steelers, so I wouldn't drop Elijah Moore just yet. He's going to get back into his groove. He hasn't really been too bad. I know a lot of people have started dropping him, but he hasn't been too bad just yet. But, Grant, have you have anything that you want to say about Luka's list?
Yeah, so Scotty Miller, do you really think he's going to go off this week, Luka?
No, I just think he's just going to be the only receiver Tom Brady has to throw to. He has no other options. Like I said, Russell Gage is not playing. You don't have Julio Jones. You don't have Chris Godwin. Cameron Brate, who's the starting tight end, has 2 targets in 2 weeks. And even if Cole Beasley is to play, that's fine. Cole Beasley was going to get some targets too. But name me another receiver. I'll wait. Please name me one other receiver.
Tom Brady will find a way.
Oh, yeah, to Scotty Miller, because there's no other receiver. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
He's got other weapons besides Scotty Miller.
He can
still throw it to Leonard Fournette in the backfield if he needs to.
Russell
Gage. Yeah, but how many? Can you do that all game, guys? How many football players are on the team? Let's be there's 3 receivers, 1 running back, sometimes 1, 2 tight ends. He cannot throw to Cole Beasley and Leonard Fournette all game. I'm not saying Scotty Miller is going to go for 50 yards, but Scotty Miller is going to get you at least that 7-8 points you need from a receiver, because he has nobody else to throw to. He's not throwing to Cameron Brate.
I don't think he's going to be a bad pickup for 1 week, 1 or 2 weeks if you're desperate for receivers. I just don't think he's a long-term option.
Oh, no, listen, I ain't say all that. I'm just saying these are ad drops for the week coming up. You know, these are ad drops for this upcoming week of fantasy.
We did have some fantasy matchups this past week in our host and showrunners league. I did take on Grant. I'm so sorry, Grant. My team kind of
obliterated me.
Bullied you a little bit. It was just week 2, so I'm not gonna get too cocky just yet. Let's look at our fantasy football week 2 results. we had Luka lost to Camden by 0.14. That is, I didn't even see that before. I'm so sorry, Luka.
I had Curtis Samuel on the bench. That's all I got to say.
Austin Walker with his full center squad won. He is one of the 3 2-0 teams that we have so far. Jeff did defeat John Alfano by 13 points. Kelly Campbell beat our other producer here for bets. So she is now, her record is now 1-1. Hannah Jo Groves lost to Emily Aaron. So Emily Aaron is the second of those 3 2-0 teams. And myself, like I mentioned earlier, kind of put the beat down on Grant Wheeler's Tom's Final Run squad, a 50-point victory. And if you can't tell, I am also 2-0 through 2 weeks here. Our week 3 matchups this week for our Showrunners League, the full senders are taking on Kershaw's pal, Matt Stafford. That is Johnny Jackson. Hannah Jo is taking on Camden Mowry. I am taking on, I'm trying to look at the schedule. Sorry. So those are our week 3 results. We will be right back. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. But don't go anywhere because we have our surefire picks of the week.
Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh
the
NFL
is gonna make it happen.
Welcome back to some of our favorite segments of the show. Some of ours not so much favorite segment of the show. But Grant Wheeler was so kind enough to stick around for his first surefire bet of the season. Grant, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Riley. So my surefire pick of the week is the Raiders over the Titans. The spread is -2 in favor of Vegas, and the over-under is 45.5. I'm definitely taking the Raiders to cover to win by 10. I'm taking the under at 42 since this game will be more defensive than some people might think. Vegas will be going into this game with an attitude after blowing a 20-point lead at home to the Cardinals last week. I expect Devontae Adams to have another big game along with Darren Waller. The Titans have looked absolutely flat out of the gate this season, and I don't expect things to turn around for them this week with an angry Raiders team coming into town. Derrick Henry has gotten off to a slow start this year, and he's going up against a strong Raider front. I don't see how Tennessee will move the ball consistently in this game. Give me the Raiders 26-16, a game featuring 2 desperate 0-2 teams.
I don't even really disagree with that. I honestly think the Raiders are going to win by more, but that's just me. The Titans have looked really bad, but do you guys have any thoughts on Grant's pick?
This is one of the Grant picks that I actually agree with. Congrats, Grant.
No, for real. I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, like Titans have not looked good at all. Raiders, I don't think Raiders look that good either, but they look better than the Titans. But you know, that's not saying much. But I think they got it.
They've solved Derrick Henry's puzzle finally, man. They understand.
Don't say that yet.
Listen.
They said the same thing about Patrick Mahomes last year too.
No, they're saying the same thing, but Patrick Mahomes has weapons around him. He has Ryan Tannehill right next to him. Ryan Tannehill ain't doing nothing, man. He's like Kirk Cousins. He's like Baker Mayfield. They can only take you so far, and then your team has to carry him along the way. And I don't think a Derrick Henry person that's been used, he's used like 96% of the snaps last season. Yeah. He's injury prone. I'm scared for him.
Yeah. And so I'll throw to Luka because he's the only one of us 3 that are still undefeated. We'll see if that continues into week 3 for you.
Yeah, it probably will, because we're talking about the Colts. Grant said there's a lack of energy. The Colts just suck. Let's not no ifs or buts about it. They don't have Michael Pittman. They're struggling on offense. They have Jonathan Taylor though. Don't get me wrong. Jonathan Taylor, that boy is a monster. But the Colts are literally just garbage. Like you got one up 24-0.
Well, Luka Costa.
Jacksonville Jaguars. Hold on, I'm not finished. I didn't interrupt you. I'm not finished. Jacksonville Jaguars blew out 24-0. Who is the best offensive player on the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Luka, let me give you the rundown.
Okay, wait, I'm still not finished. Hold on. Anyway, so the Colts are 24-0 Jacksonville. They've scored 10. They average 10 points a game in 2 games. They've only scored 2 touchdowns. Matt Ryan has thrown more interceptions. Matt Ryan has 4 interceptions in 2 games. Patrick Mahomes hasn't had any. Patrick Mahomes has got 7 touchdowns last 2 games. He's 24 for 35 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns versus the Chargers. Chiefs are averaging 35 points per game. Colts are averaging 22 points per game allowed, and they're only scoring 10 points a game. So I just simply do not see the Colts defense being able to keep up with Travis Kelce or Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Juju Smith-Schuster or McCole Hardman. They are injury prone. They're all over the board, but all in all, Colts are going to lose.
Grant, defend your
So
team.
the Colts, it's an annual tradition, unlike any other, losing in Jacksonville every year. That's just going to happen every year, okay? But yeah, 24-0 does not look good. You don't want to get shut out. But dude, I mean, they're without Darius Leonard. He's the heart and soul of their defense. Just having him out there, if he plays this week, will definitely give them more of an energy boost. It is their home opener. Yes, they always start out slow every year. The Colts, I don't know what it is. They get banged up. I don't know if it's their strength and conditioning coach. Matt Ryan, there's no excuse. 4 interceptions, man. You threw 3 last week. You got to really pick it up. Maybe put Nick Foles in there if things really get bad, because he is our backup, and he's got a history with Frank Reich, as we know what he did with the Philadelphia Eagles. But Jonathan Taylor, I expect him to have a big game this week. Chiefs defense is good. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, got to watch out for them. The Chiefs might win, but it will be a close competitive game.
Super quick. Over and under, it's 47.5. I'm going to take the under, and then Chiefs 6.5 cover the spread for sure.
Jeff, you're trying to get over 500. You're 1-1 right now.
And I hate choosing my team, but I am going to take the Cleveland Clowns versus the Pittsburgh Squealers this Thursday night. Actually, this Thursday night. It's Thursday, 8:25. Let's go, baby. Cleveland is favored by 5 right now. The over-under is at 38.5. I'm taking the under. This is going to be a Iowa State game. There's no offense in this. Yeah. It's going to be straight defense. And I'm going to take it by a field goal difference. Give me the Browns. Cade York, second game-winning field goal. I'm going to give it to that man. And I'm going to give you 2 reasons why. TJ Watt is gone. And that is, he is the force on that defense. He commands 3 or 4 people every time he steps across that field. And then another thing is Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep.
Come on, man.
2 great reasons.
Come on, man. I know the Patriots don't have the elite defense that the Browns supposedly have, even though we've really sucked the past couple of weeks. They don't have the personnel that we do. But Mitch Trubisky, come on, man. If it was Kenny Pickett, maybe I would be worried, but no, not Mitch Trubisky.
Riley.
And I'm 2-1 so far this season. I barely got that loss. I set the spread at 4, and it was a 3-point game. So hopefully we'll have more luck this week, because I'm taking the LA Rams, who are traveling to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. The over-under is set at 50.5, and I'm slamming the over on that one. The Cardinals are riding the confidence after the overtime scoop and score win. Matt Stafford is getting into a groove after a little rocky week 1. Allen Robinson scored his first touchdown from Stafford last week. So I think both offenses are just going to be in a groove. It's going to be a shootout. Both these offenses are high-powered. But that is all the time that we have for this week. You've heard our surefire picks of the week. You can choose to listen to them, choose not.
2-0, that's all I got to say.
I have one person that you should listen to. It's me. But that's all the time we have for this week. For Luka Costa, for Jeff Laux, and for Grant Wheeler, I'm Riley Sheppard, and we will see you all next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max.